Nokia's latest flagship, the Lumia 930, is going on sale worldwide. We have it, and we're going to give you a quick unboxing and tour. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, Dan Rubino here with Windows Phone Central, and look at this, we have the Lumia 930. It is finally going on sale worldwide now. You can get it at Expansis and from various carriers. It did get a really slow rollout there, but you can finally start to order it. We have the green one in stock here, and Nokia/Microsoft also sent us a couple little other toys to play with, including this wireless charger. Now this may look like the regular wireless charging plate, but this is the portable one. So basically it's itself a battery and has a coil in there. So you fill it up, take it with you in your bag, and then you can place your phone on it to charge anywhere, which is pretty cool. We also have the new Lumia 930 and Icon case. So this is the flip cover, similar to what the Lumia 1520 has. This one's in black, but it's obviously made for the Icon/Lumia 930. So this just came out now, and we're kind of excited to see this. If you're interested in the model number, CP637, and hopefully you can probably order that too. And then finally we have their new treasure tag, which is pretty awesome. It uses NFC and Bluetooth, and basically you can attach it to your keys, your cat, I don't know, whatever you tend to lose, and this will act like basically like a homing device, and you can use the phone basically to find it. It's pretty cool. It even has an alarm built in which can sound when you try to find it. Pretty neat stuff. But let's get looking here at the Lumia 930, which I'm pretty excited about. Now we've covered the sister device here, which is the Lumia Icon on Verizon. So hopefully you've seen that review we've done already of this device. If not, hit a Windows Phone Central and you can get a sneak peek there at what the 930 is basically about. The 930 is, you know, essentially the same phone. It's just made for international audiences. And so, and let's be honest here, this is the other change too, right? It comes in different colors, so it comes in green. Verizon only has white and black, whereas you can get this in orange, green, and white and black as well. But other than that, the 930 itself is the same as the Icon. It does have Windows Phone 8.1 out of the box though, and of course it has Lumia Cyan, that latest update, which the Icon will be getting in the near future. Let's take off some of this plastic wrap. I'll take a closer look at this. As you can see, it is a gorgeous looking device. I really like the green. So Nokia is saying that green and orange are the new colors for 2014. So if you're wondering why this doesn't come in yellow or cyan, apparently those colors aren't as popular, and they do a lot of research to figure out where the market is going on this stuff. So if you're planning on your fashion designs this year, green apparently is the way to go. On the back here, we got a 20 megapixel camera and of course the LED flash. So same as the Icon before, and you can see the little microphone ports there. So you have two on the back. Now what's cool about that, the idea is when you're shooting a video, you have those microphones facing whatever you're shooting and it picks up the sound directly. Now this device should also be able to record in Dolby Digital. So it's going to be one of the first handheld phones basically that can record using that. Nokia apparently paired up with Dolby to enable that, and I'll check that out later. So it should be better quality than what we're used to, and you know, Nokia already has very good quality with their microphones. Heading to the front here, it looks just like the Icon for me. There's really no difference here, except there's no branding, obviously. Still got the Nokia label up there, so there's no changes to that, no Microsoft branding. Head to the bottom here, we got the micro USB charging port, and you can see it's got the bands. These that's basically for the antenna. These little breaks in the body help with reception, and in fact, if you go to the top here, you can see those same kind of color bands right there. Kind of a neat distinctive look, but that is actually for the reception. If you have a Lumia 925 or have seen that, you saw how they have notches on the side. It's the same concept, but just different design. Up here too, you got your SIM port, so let's take a look at that. I forgot what this takes, if it's micro. It looks like it's a mini SIM, not a micro, so that's pretty good, but I'll confirm that later on. Pop that back in, and what's of course neat about that, you can just use your fingernail to pull it out. You don't need the little tool, so that's always good. Coming to the left side here, it is perfectly clean. There is nothing there. Now this finish here is in aluminum. It's like a metal. I'm not sure. I think it is aluminum, but it's definitely a solid metal that goes around. The back itself is polycarbonate, and then of course on the front here you have Gorilla Glass 3. This is a 5-inch display, 1080p, so it should look really good, and I'll start powering it on now, but it's going to probably make me walk through the setup phase. On the right side, you got your volume controls up and down, power button, and your dedicated camera button. Buttons on this device I really like. I think they feel really good, and I've never had issues with them, at least on the icon. And since it's the same, it should be the same here as well. And that is basically it. So we're going to let this boot up and make sure it's charged, and we'll set it up, and we'll come back here and give you a quick tour of the OS and the software. Okay, we're back, everybody, and the Lumia 930 is now booted up and everything is loaded. And so let's continue the tour. Now, let's go over the hardware quickly one more time. This is running a quad-core 2.2 gigahertz processor, so the same as the Lumia icon, and it comes with 32 gigs of internal storage with no micro SD expansion. But 32 gigs is a lot for a lot of, most people out there, so it should be okay. And of course, you're looking at a 1080p Gorilla Glass 3 display there, and that is an AMOLED display, not LCD, and you can tell that by looking at how deep those blacks are. You'll also notice the color of the tiles on this. It has that new green color, and let's head into settings. I'll quickly show you. That is actually a new color that they've added called bright green, and you can see it's right down there. So that's specific for this device. It's also available on the Lumia 635, since that too has a green cover, but obviously that is done to match the back, and it's kind of cool. So if you're looking for something different, there you go. Now, in case you're wondering what version of Windows 8.1 this is running, Windows Phone 8.1 I should say, it is running 12397. So if you're keeping track, that is the same version that's available for the preview for developers. So this is basically running the same OS that's on your phone if you're running the preview. The only difference is this has Lumia Cyan on board. And so that's basically the firmware. Going into the system settings, we can still see everything is basically the same, but I will say the Lumia Cyan thing does unlock a few options, including, let's see if I can find it here, the project my screen. So that should work now with, you can see it's already detected with one of my TVs. So that's my Asus connector. And so I should be able to beam to my TV and mirror this device using Miracast support. So that's part of Lumia Cyan. The icon should be getting that too, as well as the 1520. Scrolling down a little bit further, of course you see quiet hours and everything because this is Cortana enabled. Here's a new one. So we've reported on this before. It's not enabled on current devices because you need the Cyan firmware, but there's your USB settings. So it has asked me before using USB data connection and notify me when I'm using a slower charger. Not, nothing huge there, but those are kind of cool little features to have. So once again, if you're when you get Cyan, you'll have that enabled on your device too. Technically it's there now, it just doesn't work. And then scrolling down a little bit here, let's see what else is different. Now this is actually kind of cool. For those on Lumia Icon, there is a little hope here. You can see there is a wake up, double tap to wake up the device. So that is included on the Lumia 930. There's still no glance support, and we don't know if that's ever going to be fixed or be able to be done on this device. But it does have double tap to wake, which means that the Lumia Icon should be able to get that as well. Let's hope that's true, because it's actually a pretty useful feature. Going down a little bit here, and we have some other cool stuff. Let's go into audio. The equalizer's always been here as part of Nokia Lumia devices, at least the high-end ones. But over here, this has changed a little bit. You can see it's called Dolby Virtual Surround now. It used to be called Dolby Headphone. I'm not sure if that's actually a difference in quality or technology, or they're just renaming it. I'll try to look deeper into that, but it's called Dolby Virtual Surround now, and that's for your headphone use. You have Dolby Audio Leveling, and then this is actually neat now, Dolby Dialogue Enhancer. So when you're watching a movie, this will be able to basically, enhance that dialogue. And of course you have your flip to silence, so that's always kind of cool stuff. You have your call and SMS filter, display. This is a little bit different here. We've reported on this before, but there is now a brightness profile. So you can go to adjust. Basically the idea here is you can have 3 settings for your brightness, and you can set those accordingly. So that's your, how bright you want things. It's just a nice little tweak that gives users a little bit more preference on how bright they want their display when it auto adjusts. Likewise, you have color profile, so this is already on board a lot of devices, although they did change the layout a little bit here, so you can do cool, vivid, and advanced and you can kind of see what it looks like. It looks like they got rid of the sliders that we used to have, and so now you just have presets, which I suppose is okay. Going back to settings, into Network Hub, Device Hub, and Motion Data is of course new. That is part of SensaCore, so this, I'll click in here to show you what it's about. Basically, it collects motion data, you know, so if you have exercise apps like the new Bing Health and Fitness, this phone can act as like a pedometer, so it can measure your footsteps and as well as doing other things. And third-party app developers can, of course, take advantage of that as well for their exercise apps. So it's pretty cool. You don't need to use it though. There's a little switch there to turn it on or off. It does use battery life, but this is actually specifically optimized for this hardware. Namely the Snapdragon 800, so it actually is very gentle on the battery life as opposed to older chipsets. So although it technically uses some battery life, it should be very, very minimal. So that's always good. Other than that though, that's pretty much the main differences if you're looking for what's new with Lumia Cyan. There is of course living images support. And I actually have a sample here for you. So it's now supported in Storyteller 2, which is kind of cool. So that's just a regular photo, and I'm going to rotate this around. It's my messy desk as I'm working. But over here, there's a living image. So there's my little kitty. She's posing for me. But it just captures that brief few seconds before you actually snap the photo. Now that's only viewable in a couple apps, namely the Nokia Storyteller and your camera roll. But if you go to regular photos, it doesn't work as a living image. So it looks like that's part of, you know, the difference between Windows Phone 8.1 and actually Nokia's own firmware stuff. Looking at the main screen here, you can of course see the tile layout. This is the default layout that they use. You can see the apps includes News, Nokia Storyteller, there's Vine, you have the app, what do they call it? I've got the app Social. That's right, the really cool Nokia app for finding the latest apps out there. Nokia Beamer, OneDrive, Skype, Sports, Nokia Mix Radio, which is actually just called Mix Radio now, and they're dropping a Nokia name, Nokia Camera, and more. So pretty standard apps here. Obviously Nokia and Microsoft are putting a lot of their apps on board here, which is always welcome. Nothing too unique though. You do have your Skype and Sports, and of course Vine on there, which is really nice. I do recommend if you get this device, immediately go to the store, and you'll want to do settings, scroll down and hit check for updates, and then let that go through, because let's see if I still have it here. No, I don't. But in the store I had probably about 20 updates that had to go through. You can actually see them here. So Nokia Storyteller, Video, Mix Radio, Transfer My Data, and there's actually a couple of system apps in here as well. They don't show in the history, but if you used a Lumia before, you know what I'm talking about, the display and everything. So those all were updated as well. So make sure you do that to take advantage of everything. Nokia Storyteller and Nokia Camera are very important, because the camera update will enable that living images. Now you'll get those updates regardless if you force check it, but they'll come to you eventually, but you probably want to do that right away. But there you go. You know, quick tour of the Lumia icon and of the OS and everything. I really like this phone. I think it's an elegant looking device. I love the color that it comes in. And like I said, you can get it from Expansys and from various other websites and carriers. So make sure you try to get it. Now I'll do a follow-up post on this about carriers in the US and whether it works or not. I do have this on AT&T right now, and you can actually see it right there. You will not get LTE bands, of course. But it does work on the HSPA and everything HPS Plus, depending on your coverage. And I will test it with T-Mobile too, although I expect probably worse performance at T-Mobile, but we'll see how it goes. So technically it works, you just don't get that LTE coverage, which depending on your needs you may or may not require. But there you go, head to Windows Phone Central, tell us what you think. Take care, everybody.